The only time I've ever been paid to teach anything was many years ago when I spent several months in Japan and I worked for the Berlitz School of Languages. The Berlitz School teaches conversational English, and they do not allow the instructors to speak any Japanese in the classroom at all, which was good for me since I didn't have very much Japanese to speak. And so you spend your time going over sort of basic English words at first and moving on to more abstract concepts as the student progresses. Well, one day, a student who I'll call Mr. Tanaka, since unfortunately I don't remember his real name anymore, came in and had a question about two English words. He couldn't figure out the difference in meaning. He said, "What is the difference between until and by?" So I stopped for a minute and I thought, well, that's an interesting question. It's never occurred to me to sit down and try to define the difference between until and by. So after thinking about it for a minute or two, I said, well, until has to do with continuous time. You're going to be doing something, or you're going to be somewhere through this period of time that will end at some point. And then I explained that by has to do with having a deadline, that it is a specific point in time that you are shooting for. Now, I couldn't explain it to him in those words because his English wasn't advanced enough, so I had to make a drawing, and I made a timeline and demonstrated that with until, I would be, for example, present along that entire timeline until we got to, say, 4 o'clock. And then with by, I had to mark on the timeline different places where an event could occur as long as it happened before, say, 4 o'clock. Still kind of a rough concept for me to explain, obviously, but it worked, and he was really excited to get the nuanced difference and said that he would, it had made a big difference to his understanding of things that he was hearing. So it was a pretty satisfying experience for me. And I have to say that I had definitely never been asked to think about the differences between those two words before, the nuances, and just how hard it could be for a non-native speaker to pick up on differences in meaning like that. I also have to say it was an humbling experience for me because after I was able to get the concepts across to Mr. Tanaka, I realized that I had no idea what the equivalents were in his language, in Japanese, and here I was sitting in Japan, not nearly as proficient and fluent in his language as he was in mine. The end.